Hey everyone, how you doing? Let me know if the audio is good. Cool. All right, today we're gonna talk about tires, tire compounds, looking after your tires, truing. Um, you know, some of this stuff is also very new to me. Like I said, I am trying my best to learn a lot about slot car racing, and tires and tire truing seems to be the first thing that we talk about when it starts to modifying vehicles. So I thought it would just do a little bit of a deep dive into what I know and what you as a community can help me understand more. So hopefully this is interesting and it's something that will be exciting. Well, it's exciting for any slot car person, I think. So let's talk tires and tire compounds first. Something that I have started off when I first started. I started in Carrera, obviously. And hey Clint, hey Mara, how are you? Nice for you guys to join. Thank you. So the first thing I want to talk about is like tire compounds. Obviously, when you get your car from Carrera, Carrera has some of the worst tires out in the market, but then when you look at NSRs and you look at the newer other cars that come out, brands such as Revoslot, NSR, Scale Auto, they have really nice tires straight out of factory, some of them, especially the NSRs, and they have good, they use aluminum wheels or metal wheels, so they have proper round rims. Whereas in Carrera, you get a lot of knobs because they are injection molded, so they do have like imperfections in the mold. So one of the first things that I like to do and today probably going to discuss more about Carrera cars than anything else, because that's the thing I'm most used to. I would like to get to know more about the tire compounds from NSR, but unfortunately, I don't get a lot of NSR product readily available at my local racing store because Ernie cuts his own tires. So we'll take a look at some of the things that I've learned in my brief slot car, history that I have, and hopefully with the help of anyone's on this chat, we can fill out more details and I can get a little bit more information. So the tire that I'm very used to, and it's something that I buy a lot of. In fact, I have a ton of these tires and off because these are Paul gauge tires. I have over 200 Carrera cars in my collection. So as you can see, this is for the 911. I have the tires for 911, and most likely these fit in the rears. But these are Paul gauge, and they're urethane tires, and this is the tire that I'm very comfortable picking up and putting on a car and getting it trued. So we'll talk about truing a bit later. So this is a urethane tire, and it's something that I run locally I run in my basement racing. So it puts down rubber on the track. So that's one thing that's kind of cool about it. It gives a little bit more traction to your track. So this is one type of tire. The other tire that I get often and is very readily available to me is Quick Slicks. Now this is a silicone tire, it is the anti-tire to the Paul gauge, because where this puts down rubber, the silicone pulls up rubber. So the two tire compounds don't work well against each other. So if I am going to race my cars at Ernie's or at the polycar track, and they use quick slicks. So all my cars are done in quick slicks. And if I'm racing on my home track, all my cars are running on the Paul gauge tires, right? Now, another tire that recently I've been introduced to, and this goes back to something that I'm pretty familiar with. When I bought my Scale Autos 124s, they come with rubber tires. These are the Scale Auto original tires. This is what comes on the car, and they come with their own aluminum wheels. But at Ernie's, when we go to 124th racing, we switched them out to this tire configuration for wood track, which is a foam tire. So I come from the RC world. I used to race RCs for a long time. Foam is a very common tire in the RC world, and something called we got tire juice, and we put it on the tires, and it helps us grip on carpet tracks because that's what we race on. But it was very new to me when Ernie introduced me to the foam tire in slot car racing. Now these tires are trued on a lathe machine, so I don't know if you can true them using our regular tire truers. I'm not aware, so if anyone knows that in the chat, let me know. But yeah, this is what we race at Ernie's. It is a foam tire, and obviously we're running the Scale Auto chassis here with a wood track guide. Yeah, so that's what I know about tire compounds. If you guys know any other compounds, let me know in the chat. Like I said, I would like to get to know more about NSRs. If any of you run NSRs, let me know. And let's start there for this evening and go from there. Anybody? No? All right, so let's talk about truing then, because that's where we start to get into making the cars go faster, right? Or handle better. So the first thing that we have to understand is, why do we true the tires? Obviously, truing tires is to prevent, to maximize the amount of rubber contact onto the track. I used to race rail cars, and I actually come from a racing background. I've actually raced and competed in the Canadian Sport Compact Series. So one thing I understand is getting as much tire to touch the ground as possible. So when I built my race car, it was a wide body Charger, and I had 305s in all four corners. It helped with grip. It helped with being able to take corners at higher speed. It also gave me more confidence getting in and out of corners in a straighter line. So that's something I know about tires. Now, when you talk about slot cars, one of the major issues with the Paul gauge tires is either you're going to have a cupped tire or a bowed tire. And what does that mean? When you look at a tire, if this is the edge that touches the track, if it's cupped, that means it's depressed. Only the edges will be touching the track, and the middle part of the tire will not. If it's bowed, that means it bulges out around the top. Then what's going to happen is only the highest point of the tire touching the track, so you're not really using the whole tire patch. So in order to fix that, we true the tires. And truing starts in a very basic form sometimes. For most people, when they start out, and I did this as well, was take a piece of my existing track, like the control unit. I have an analog control unit that I did, and I used to tape down some sandpaper on one side, and I used to run my cars on the track. And that was cool, but it's pretty expensive. So somebody at the club brought in one of these. So this is very inexpensive. It's a unit that you buy from eBay. It is a simple tire truing unit. You just plug it in. You can adjust the fronts here so that your car can sit properly. So if you have a 1 in 24 inch scale car, or a 1/32, that's a weird size, you just adjust the front bumper so that the car sits on. So the car sits on, and the bumper rubs up against this stopper. This is a stopper right here, and it comes with these little pads. So this pad has the sandpaper on it. So I believe this is 60, or I think it's I don't know what grit this sandpaper is, to be honest with you, but this is the sandpaper that comes with it, and then it comes with a sponge to clean off the tire after you finished truing it. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to put that in the car. As soon as you put it down, it will start up the motor, and you'll basically slowly oscillate the car back and forth over the sandpaper, and it will true the tire. And you'll see your tire will true by the changing of, you'll see as the tire that's making contact with the track will change color and go gray, and whatever was not will be shiny black, and you continue truing it until you have a smooth gray profile all the way across. So simple way to true tires, very cost effective, but there's some drawbacks. The first drawback with this is you can burn out your motor, and this has actually happened at the club here. If you're overly aggressive or use too much force on the car, you put too much, because obviously this is all hand controlled. The first thing that you'll do is burn out the motor. Clint, you've never seen this? Yeah, it's a pretty inexpensive tire truer actually. Just pick it up from eBay. I think it's $100 Canadian. So you can probably, if you're in the US, it's a lot cheaper. But it's a simple solution. It's pretty nice in terms of size, so you can put it anywhere on your desk. It's better than the control unit, I would say, and also it's easier to use. It comes with these pads. You get a whole bunch of extra sheets and components with it as well, so you get like different grit sandpaper. They send it to you. I don't have them around at the moment, but yeah, you get different grit sandpaper, and then when you're done sanding, you can just sponge out onto a sponge pad that comes with it as well, and they send you multiples of this. So yeah, so this is a simple tire truer, and this is what I've been using for the past little while. Yeah, so we're talking about here grandson of man, yeah, trying to figure out how to round out the tires. So yeah, when you do true out tires, what happens is you go from, sorry, let me see, I'm getting kind of flustered. All right, so when you look at a tire that comes from Paul Gage, you'll notice that the edges are rounded, and when you true out a tire, you're going to get sharp edges here. So what I do normally for that, give me 1 second. So what I do for the edges is I get a whole bunch of these emery boards. These are little nail files, like nail sanders. And what I do is I keep the car on the track on this without the body, and I run it, and I just rub this over the edge and use a circular motion on it, and it will give it a rounded corner. It's not the best way, but it's an easy way to do it. I think other people use sandpaper, but I just like these emery boards. They're really useful. They're available. They come in different grits, and it's a simple solution that I use to round out the edges. And then what other people do is they put some tire juice. Now I don't know much about the different additives people put on tires, to be honest with you. I know for the sponge tires, we use lighter fluid to clean them off. For the urethane tires, I mostly use a lint roller to clean off all the dirt off the tires. And I know for silicone, people say to you just wash them in a little bit of water and it will remove the dirt. Now, I haven't done that on my silicones yet because I haven't been running that much racing recently at Ernie's. I've mostly been running racing at home. So for the urethanes, I normally use the simple thing that I do with my urethanes is I actually use alcohol wipes sometimes, but a little thing that happened when I used the alcohol wipe was I was getting a little white powderish residue on it, so I stopped doing that and I just now use a lint roller, and it's the simplest thing to do to clean up your urethane tires. Or you can just run it on the sponge pad here. It does a good job as well, cleaning up the tires. So once you're done, with the basics and you want to step up, this is when you get into a proper tire truing machine. Now, this is the first tire truer I've actually bought. Yeah, Clint. So that is correct. Clint asked me, my foam tires, you only run on wood tracks. That is correct, Clint. I only run the foam tires on wood tracks. I have foam tires for my 132nd as well, but they're also for wood track racing. And most of them have metal chassis. I've never seen, I don't know if they run really well with a plastic chassis, because all my wood track cars are on metal chassis. I have run the foam tires on my Carrera track, but they slip and slide really quickly because they pick up a lot of dirt. They're like a silicone in that regard. I find that they get dirty really quickly. I guess it's because they create a static charge as they're running, so it picks up a lot of the dirt on the track. Okay, so yeah, recently I decided to step up, and obviously you guys, if you're in the industry, in the slot car world, you know that tire truers have been really hard to get. So last October I ordered this from Overdrive shop out of Germany, and it is a tire truer that they sell. It's the RSM4. They actually call it RSM3 on their shop. I ordered it in, and this is what came. I also ordered a bunch of different upgrades with it. So let's have a look. So this is the kit that actually comes from Overdrive shop. So you get this little pulley system, and the way this works is this will true a whole axle, so both sides at once. And the reason I did this was because Carrera cars are press-on wheels, so I don't like to pull off the wheels from my Carrera cars, and so that's one reason why I bought this tire truer. And then the way this tire truer works is there's an arm here that lifts up, and let me just get a car and we'll test it out in real time. Alright, so I got my Aston Martin here. I'll just open it up. Do you guys use any additives on your tires? And if you do, let me know in the comments, or just let me know in general what additives you use to your tires, if any. Like I said last week, I'm very much just a novice in the hobby. I'm mostly a car collector, so if there's things about cars, I probably know them, and even then, I'm not very good at the historical cars. I'm mostly good at the new GT3s, Formula 1s kind of stuff. So, yeah, let me know if you're using additives on your tires, what you use and why. It'd be really helpful. Of course, I have one screw that just doesn't want to come out. Huh. There we go. So to take out the rear axle from a Carrera vehicle, you just have to carefully pop out the bushing here. You have to do it carefully because I've done this before where I've kind of tweaked the chassis trying to pop off the axle, and that's no fun. So once you get the axle out, the way this system works is you mount this pulley onto this axle perpendicular to the direction of travel, so something like that, and you tighten it down onto the axle here. I don't even know if I got it on the right side, so let's just test that for a second here. So the way it does, these bushings now sit inside these two grooves, these two metal grooves here, and you put the pulley in the right position. So for my case here, the pulley would probably come out just past the crown gear here. Yep, so that's that. You put this on here, put the two bushings across, you get that out of the way as much as possible, and this got a lever system, so you pull up on it, you move the pulley across here, you make sure it's seated properly on this side. Hey, I'm doing this first time too. So, and then you pull down, and that's the setup right there. Whoops. And you hold it down, obviously. But yeah, that's basically how it locks onto position. And I'm clumsy, as you can tell. That's fine. It's all good. It's all learning. So you pull it down, and then this will come in position and hold it in place. And so yeah, this slider pad goes underneath here, and this has grit. It has sandpaper on it, and you plug this part into a power supply, and this motor runs at 9 volts. So you put this into a power supply, runs at 9 volts, and you slowly true down the tires. Now, it is advisable to use several different grits of sandpaper. So I believe people start at 120 and go down all the way to a low grit sandpaper. I believe the first one is always a rough one, and that is to get the tire pretty much cut down to size. The second one is to fine-tune the grit on the fine-tune the tire, and sizing. And then the last one is a wet sand. So you use a really fine piece of sandpaper, and you put some water and you wet sand down. Now, I will be doing some tire truing, and I will tell you my results. But basically, yeah, this is how it works. It's a very simple process to true down the tires. I will be, this oscillation here, I've seen a lot of tire truers, really good ones, have an automatic arm that moves this for you. So I'm actually going to build one out of probably out of Lego, actually, because using techniques you can possibly do that as well. So I'm going to test that out and probably build my own automated tire truer. out of it. But yeah, so this is the Tire Truer that I've got. I don't know if you guys have used this one before. Let me know if you have, once again. But that's what I got right now for tire truing, and I hope it will step up my game, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, the other things that I got for this Tire Truer is I got the upgrade from the regular axle, which is these are Carreras, to reverse slot, which is a 3mm axle. So this is the 3mm axle extension. I also have, and if you notice, this one has a preloaded bar, so you can actually put the reverse slot tires directly on it. It also got a 3mm pulley, so in case I want to run a full axle 3mm, I have the pulley here for that. I got extra bands to run, and I got another pad as well. So another aluminum pad, which is higher than the one that I have currently installed. And this is to give me a little bit more, I can hone down tires a lot thinner. Yeah, so that's what I got from Overdrive shop. I haven't used it, but I'm looking forward to, and I thought I'd just review it on the channel today. So that's what I got for you guys today. Was there anything that you guys had or wanted to talk about? Let me know. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a like in the chat. Please like the video. It helps me produce more videos and keep this going. So one thing I wanted to do was I'm going to start filling out this mind map here with things that this is the series that I want to build out. So today we talked about tires. Next week I'll talk about motors and then how to tune up the motors. The week after that I'll probably have a guest on, and then we'll go into tuning, adding weights, straightening chassis and all that. Gearing is a big topic. Why change your gears? What do you want? What do you expect out of it when you change gears? And then we're going to body rolling, prepping bodies, sanding down edges of bodies. Like, there's so much to do in stock car world. So I'm trying to keep track of it as I step through the novice to the intermediate level. There's a lot to keep track of and a lot to work on. So I'm trying to keep track of it here and do it through the live streams as well. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think. If there's things that you guys would like to know that I can help out, just let me know as well. And I'll just hang around here for another couple minutes and see if there's anything that you guys would like to do. What are you guys working on? Anything interesting? You guys racing regularly right now? I know Marty was at Cincy Slots. I wish I had something like that closer by. The plastic track racing world here in Toronto is not as prominent as the wood track, and I find wood track racing a little bit I'm so far behind. When I go to the track, it's rather overwhelming, that the amount of knowledge that most of the racers there have, and they're very seasoned. And almost if it wasn't for Ernie and a couple of guys there, I don't know if I would actually stick around at the club, because it's a little bit daunting. But there's not a lot, like I said, there's not a lot of plastic racing going on, plastic track racing, a lot of wood track. As a beginner, it gets a little bit daunting, I think. But how about you guys? You guys racing? And if you are, where you racing? What are you guys doing? Let me know. Thank you, Clint. Yeah, so you're racing 124. Is it custom built, or are you racing some classes? Grandson of Man, what classes do you race? The only class I race wood track is the Scale Auto. I think they call it 1-for-1. Yeah, that's the class that I race at Ernie's. But I'd be interested to know like what other classes you guys race. I know they run a Trans Am class, but once again, like I said, I'm not. I'm very new to 124 racing, so I don't really have a lot of cars in 124. I'm mostly a 132nd racer. Actually, just enjoy that size more than the 124. Hey Clint, so you're racing with on a 10x16 Carrera track? Nice. Yeah, my big track's down right now. I'm in the process of trying to find a permanent home for it. I'm trying to open a public space for digital racing in Toronto. So currently we are looking at properties, but I should have that all finalized and moved in before June. But at that point, I'm gonna put probably a 24 by 8 foot track in place for digital racing. Yeah, I did a drag racing setup. I know you guys probably watched my video. If not, there's a video where we drag raced about 100 cars in different classes. So Group 5, DTM, GT3, and you'll be surprised at the winner on that one. But it was also surprised me. No, Clint, everything that I do will be Carrera. So it's going to be a digital track that I'm going to build, and it will be purely Carrera racing. It's not that big actually. At home, my track at home, the one that I took down was a 20 by 8. So it's only 4 feet longer. So it's going to be a 24 by 8 foot track. I was running about 150 feet of track on that comfortably. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to build out. How many power taps? I'm running 30. So I'm building a bus bar, 3 bus bars. Each bus bar will have 10 taps on it, and they'll run to underneath the tables and come out. And as I change the track, I'll use more or less, but minimum I'm running 30 power taps. That doesn't mean all 30 of them will be in use, but I have 30 power taps available to me. I'm actually talking to OmniSlot to get full OmniSlot support and get 6 digital racers on there, and then have I'm trying to see if I will get the analog switch on there as well, so that I can race analog. But yeah, these are just things that are in the works right now, but predominantly it's be digital, and then hopefully just analog testing for that track. Is there anybody else? Is there something that you guys like me to cover with my limited knowledge, obviously? What I'm really good at is videography and photography, so you can ask me those questions if you'd like. I'm open to answering any questions, to be honest. So last year I bought 150 cars. I don't know how many I buy this year, but a cool project I'm working on right now is my daughter and I just bought a huge Carrera Go system, and I'm building a Lego city, and I'm trying to put a whole Carrera Go slot car track integrated, and then I mean properly integrated into the Lego city. So that's a project that I'm working on this year with my daughter, and she's super excited because actually she came up with that idea, and I'm hoping to kind of make it a reality for both of us. So are you guys doing anything cool like that? Or because I've seen a lot of rail scenics. So Boone has some really cool scenery on his track. But when Carrera released the build and race, Carrera Go released the build and race sets, I was interested in doing a Lego City with the build and race track going through it. And so this year we plan to build that. Yeah, definitely. I love my daughter being excited about the hobby, and she's getting really good at racing. I buy her own cars. She learns how to tune them. She learns a lot about mechanics. Yeah, I can't wait. I think her first driving lesson will be on a proper racetrack anyway. I already promised her that. But that's when she turns 13. Because that's when I learned how to drive. So that's going to be exciting. So grandson, I'm not done with my layout, so not much scenery yet. Yeah, scenery is pretty tough. I just bought, I don't know if you've seen them, but in the background there, yeah, go this way. Is it that way? Yeah. So in the background there, you can see these big towers that I bought. There's a company called Joy Toy, and they do real scenics. And the reason I like them a lot is because they are weathered. So they come pre-painted and weathered and everything. I'll bring one closer. So they're not to scale, obviously, to fit a Carrera race car, but and I've done a lot of wargaming scenery, and it's very different from racetrack scenery. But I do like the industrial look on these Joy Toy ones. And they get all these mechs. It's just a different size. Maybe if I went to 124, they'd probably fit in because they're really cool. And I might just do that. I might just start collecting some 124s and build my track around the 124, but keep on racing 132nd. I don't know. These are all different options that I can do. I do have a lot of 124 cars that I got when I first started Carrera in 2008. So maybe. So you have an AE86, that's an awesome car. Yeah, I was thinking about doing a futuristic track. So maybe some sci-fi kind of track. But right now with the Lego build, it's pretty cool because I'm using something called a mill system or modular system for building. and with that I can switch up the track to even have like Star Wars racing, and that's the cool part about Lego. It's got so much already built into it, so I'm pretty excited about that, and it's a kind of cool project for this year. But we'll see if that works out. Maybe we'll expand it into my 124 and do a sci-fi kind of track layout. There's always cool projects. You can take one hobby, combine it with another. I mean, for myself, I really got into slot cars for YouTube just because I wanted to do camera techniques, learn high-speed photography, learn really, really high frame rate, slow motion photography as well, and videography. And that's really why I got into slot cars for YouTube. And that's in real honesty there. So I wasn't really looking at building a slot car channel. It just kind of took on its own a life of its own slowly, and it's become what it is. But I do love the slot car hobby, and it's just great. Like, the people involved in this hobby are awesome. I speak to Travis and I speak to Marty all the time, so it's awesome. Sean Casey calls me all the time. So everyone's sharing ideas, everyone's sharing knowledge, and I think that is the power of a good community, right? So that's really what keeps me going here. Rolling tire shots. Yeah, 1,000 frames per second makes everything. Actually, I use it a lot. 1,000 frames per second. When I shoot with 1,000 frames per second, you can actually see what's wrong with the car, because at that frame rate, you can see what's making the car move in a weird way. If sometimes at 1,000 frames, I'll notice the front is wobbling a lot, so I look at the front end. And we didn't talk about that actually. How to make no grip tires. I use nail polish on the fronts of my Carrera cars to make them no grip. So that's what I use. It's a simple nail polish. Lock. See if it'll autofocus. I don't think it will. Does it not autofocus? Silly thing. Anyway, switch to another camera. Yeah, so this is what I use. Simple nail polish. It's black. Oh, sorry, this is clear. And I put that on my front tires to make them no grip. And this way you don't get any drag when the tire hits the track. And go from there. So yeah, when I'm shooting 1,000 frames per second, I can tell what's wrong with the car. It gives me a clear indication of what could possibly be happening with the car, and then I can look at adjusting whatever it is. So for instance, if it's a tire, normally it tells you if the rim is true or not right away. If you notice in the 500 SEL that the 300 SEL that I just did, you noticed how there was a lot of slop and play in the front wheels. And when you ran it at 1,000 frames per second, you saw how the car wobbled because of those front wheels. Because every time the car hit a little bump, the front wheel would wiggle, and the car would actually start to get unsettled. So it was pretty interesting to see that captured at 1,000 frames per second. Yeah, I mean that's the practical reason to use like cameras. Besides like creating YouTube videos, it gives you a lot of information about the car, especially if you're prepping a car. So I really like to use the videos to actually fine tune and look at the car. Camber set. So how do you set your camber? Do you use like how do you set the camber on the front wheels? I know camber is very important, like in regular racing. It helps you turn the car in, but because these stock cars don't have like steering, and I know in RC we do a lot of camber adjustment, toe in, toe out, to aid in turning, especially on tight turns, but I don't see the benefit on a slot car track, on a slot car, because the front wheels are not really controlling steering. But you know, let me know your thoughts on that. Hey Sean, welcome on board. Nice to see ya. Yeah, we're just talking about tires. We went through different compounds, truing methods. My limited knowledge was exposed, but hey, it's all good. I don't do this YouTube as an expert. I'm doing it to learn. It's fun. I have a lot of fun doing it. And that's the most important thing. Our radius front wheels till they aren't weight bearing. Yeah, obviously, like with NSRs, you get grub screws. You can raise the front axle or lower the front axle, so it kind of moves the front tire so that it doesn't, it just barely touches the track. You still need it to just touch the track, and then obviously by putting nail polish, I make it no grip, so that way it doesn't unsettle. It just slips over the track. It makes it noisy though with the nail polish if you're running plastic track, but it's helpful and useful, so I still do it. Yeah. Yeah, I do that as well. I still do that. On Carrera, you need to, because Carrera doesn't have grub screw adjustment for the front axle. So unless you got a custom chassis, but we're talking about stock Carreras, the best way to do it is just sand down the front tires. 100%, I agree. Sean, you've done a lot of scenery. Do you do it personally, or do you buy it pre-bought and pre-painted? What's your take on scenery? Yeah. Totally agree. 90 degrees. We talked about that already today. I use an emery board like this. It's a nail file like this. You get them in different grits. I use that to sand down around the edges of my tires. Yeah, so Sean does the traditional method of buying and assembling and painting. I've been kind of, I was just saying, Sean, earlier that my daughter and I were building a Carrera Go track inside the Lego city. So we're gonna integrate the Carrera Go inside the city. It makes for some really cool like landscapes, and they're already pre-built. It's Lego, so you can do crazy like dioramas with, TIE fighters. Especially if you do the build and race sets, you can put TIE fighters chasing down X-wing, and you can create like a Star Wars theme and create these like really cool tracks. So that's something that we're working on this year, my daughter and I. It was her suggestion, and I've decided to try it out. So but yeah, on a big track, I think regular like good terrain is so necessary. It brings the track to life. It's really cool once you put like people around and stuff. You can create some really nice environments. I might try and do a sci-fi version of my 1/32 track, because I have a lot of GW figures, and they probably fit better in the 1/32 scale. Anyway, we're coming up to the hour, so I'm going to sign out soon. But I thank everybody for watching. I'll be back next week on Monday. Ransom, man, I've been pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, kids' toys. I mean, how do you get the younger generation involved if it's not part of their play? The way I see it is, if you want the younger generation involved in slot car racing, then we got to make it part of their play toy kind of feel. So that's why, like, I was talking to my daughter. She's 12, and I was saying to her, I want. What do you think would get more people your age involved in slot cars? She's like, well, I don't really like cars that much, but it'd be cool if they were integrated other things. So I was like, okay, so what would you like them integrated in? And the first thing she said was Lego, because you can do really cool dioramas, like I said. So you can create, what's the name of that really famous game right now? Shit, I forget the name. You can use like game themes, just like Sunday Slot Cars is doing with their tracks, but actually build a theme. So that's what I wanted to do with the Lego system. So it's going to take a while, but it's something that I'm really passionate about right now, and we're working on. Yeah, Minecraft. That's correct, Sean Casey. Minecraft it is. And Minecraft, Lego has a whole Minecraft series, so you could actually build a full Minecraft kind of diorama and have the slot cars race through that. And especially with the build and race, you can actually make Minecraft kind of cars and race them, and it'll be really cool. So it's something that I'm really excited to work on this year, as well as move my big track into an industrial unit. So there's a lot planned for 2023. Should be interesting for slot cars for sure, and other hobbies. That's right, minecarts. Yeah, it could be the Minecraft panda racing a Minecraft pig. Lots of crazy stuff. But I mean, that's the quirkiness of sometimes you can't take the hobby very seriously. It kind of alienates some of the younger generation. But if you want the younger generation to step away from computers and play physical games like we were brought up with, then I think you have to integrate it more into what they're doing. Exactly. So, Sean, you hit it on the head. Like, I would love to create a rally car track and course. But the cool thing about Carrera Go is it already has the rally car tracks and the rally car system. I wish Carrera and Schoelectric does it as well. They have quite a bit, but Schoelectric is very expensive and it's hard to get here. But if Carrera introduced more, cooler track finishes, like Carrera Go right now has the ice track finishes. It has the rally track finishes, so you can create some really cool, cool kind of tracks. Yeah, initial D. Yeah, you could definitely do, you know, a drift track. It would be cool to see. Yeah, 100%. The Mario Kart is really cool. That's another thing. Like, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, when I picked up the Carrera Go system, I picked up all the Mario Kart figures for it. I bought a lot of F1 stuff as well. I'm just gonna have a lot of fun with that series and really just do quirky things that most hardcore slot car enthusiasts will not probably relate to. So, but that's the whole point of this hobby, is to have a bit of fun. Yeah. So, Sean Casey, racing like shit until you change the tires. Yes, but once again, we're trying to get people involved in the hobby. The racing is cool, and if I was going to do it for pure racing, I'd probably run it on my 132nd, but the Carrera Go is for fun. It's like to create this environment and have a lot of fun. I have a lot of four-way junctions, so lots of accidents. Great for 1,000 frames per second, obviously, because that's what I want to do, shoot this at 1,000 frames per second. I also have a mini drone that is a virtual reality drone, so flying the virtual reality drone in through the Lego City will be wicked as well. So, like, from a video perspective, there's lots of cool things that I can see coming out of it, just doing it this way. So yeah, exciting, but yeah, the Cars movie slot cars, that's cool. I collected all the F1 goes because I found with the F1 series, we don't get the 132nds, the latest ones, but the Go series already released the latest F1. So I've been collecting all the Formula 1 Go series cars. I haven't really looked at the 143rd in anything else but the F1s until now. And now I picked up the Mario Kart stuff, and I haven't looked at the car stuff yet, but you never know. Right now, it's a matter of building the Lego City, and Lego is pretty expensive, but it's a lot of fun to build. So right now, we're having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, but once again, they're not true liveries, right? They're not the Alpine livery. They're not the Red Bull livery yet. Like, I know NSR is making the F1, but I think they're plain, just like the Polycar ones. And that's cool, and that's okay. And I think when you're racing Formula 1, 100%, you don't need a livery. But when you're collecting, you want it true or as close to the real livery as possible, right? So definitely, the NSR one definitely got my... Yeah, there you go. You'll decal them yourself. Gerardo, you said you're F1 out. We ran way too much F1 in the club. Yeah, F1 racing is cool, and I mean, the cars fly around the track, they're really fast. But for me, my sweet spot is GT3. Like, I love GT3 racing. Group 5 racing is really cool as well. Like, real world cars, slightly modified or heavily modified in some cases, GT3 is way more fun than an F1 car. F1 cars are cool because the amount of engineering that goes into them is what governs the future releases of cars, right? So I understand why F1 exists. I understand why LMP exists, and LMP cars are really cool as well. But I like real cars that I can relate to and race. So You know, for me, GT3 and Group 5 are some of my favorite cars. Hey, Area 51, welcome to the chat. Yeah, 100%. So for me, Group C and GT3 cars are like my go-to, 100%. Trans Am is also another really, really cool and fun series. However, I didn't grow up around Trans Am, so I don't relate as much as other people do. Can-Am. I actually collect a lot of Can-Am cars. My friend was just commenting how many open top cars I have. They're cool, but once again, it's relatability, right? Like LMP cars are really nice, really fun. Formula One cars are really nice, really fun. But you know, when you take a GT3 car, something that you see running on the streets, and you put it on the track in stock car version, because I, for one, could not afford this in real. It just gets really cool, really fun. You have all the Carrera, yeah, the Can-Am Carreras. Yeah, I do. I haven't reviewed them. I even got some of the original ones, original digital Can-Am ones from a set. Yeah, scoop cars for sure. Ivan, welcome to the chat. Thank you very much, buddy. Yeah, rally cars. Yeah, if we got more rally cars, I'd definitely do a rally series because I love rally cars. I grew up around them. They're really cool. And I know that Geraldo, I think, somebody's bringing in some SEX cars. So yeah, definitely rally cars is one of my favorites, 100%. Are you talking about the pipes lighting up on the Trans Am series? Or the Alfa under Ferrari Can-Am? Slot it. Talking about 4x4s. I actually found both my SCXs. I'll just bring them up. Yeah, so I was... Hello? Yeah, sorry about that. I think my mic just cut out. Interesting. Oh. Yeah, transmitter cut out. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm on a different mic now. But let's just see. Yeah, so I was digging through my boxes and I got... these two SEXs. They are from 2005, I believe, or 2008. No, before, like 2005 or 2007. And both of these are all-wheel drive SEX cars. They really grip on the track. You get a lot of traction from them. They're slow though, because you got four wheels turning. Yeah, Ivan would know. Four-wheel drive system. Yeah, there have been a lot of four-wheel drive systems for slot cars. At least I've seen quite a few of them, but you don't readily get them now. But in 2008, there was quite a few four-wheel drive systems, if I remember. And like I said, these are two cars that I got at that time. Once again, mostly in rally cars. So Thank you, Clint. The Cartrix Hyundai got world's fastest than Mescalectric SEX Celica. Yeah, I've never heard of Cartrix before, to be honest. So just like I just heard about I guess the Black Falcons or these new cars that came out. So I've actually looked at buying one, but right now I'm just holding off. I'm trying to see what direction I'm going to take this year in terms of collecting. So definitely want to get some SEX stuff for sure, if I can get my hands on it. And now last year when I went to Spain, I kind of educated my family on what I'm looking for. So, you know, Spain is the hub for rally car stuff. So hopefully I can pick up some stuff through that. One motor, two axles, maybe two motors. Two motors is hard to run. One motor with two axles definitely easier. I've never seen a belt drive slot car, unless you guys have. But I know in RC it's a lot of belt drives that run four-wheel drive. Yeah, you like the geared one rather than the belt. Yeah, well, let's tear these ones open and see what they look like, these SEX ones. My desk is getting a bit messy. Let's clear up a bit here so I can open up these SEXs. We'll look at the four-wheel drive system on these. Fortunately, my lab mic has run out of battery, otherwise, so now I have some sound issues. Figures. All right. I think I need a different head for this. Let's see. Yep. Different head was required. So open up this 4x4. Maybe the skinny F1 motor side by side. Just the problem with motors is they're not all built equally. So if the motors are not broken in the same, you might get the problem here is without a gearing system that will take away the slop, you can possibly get you can unsettle the car anyway just by driving the motors. So do you have them in four-wheel drive, or are we talking about four-wheel drive cars? Is just a rear-wheel drive with the LED and the rear red flashing light? You're talking about Area 51. Yeah, so this is the SEX four-wheel drive system. So you can see it's got a dual. Oh, I think this rod goes all the way through, if I'm not mistaken. This rod right here, and then we got two crown and pinion gears. And this is the way I've seen four-wheel drive systems that work really well handle. So yeah, that's the four-wheel drive system that I'm accustomed to seeing. Yeah. So this one has lights on it too, so that's why we got extra cars. That car's a scaly, is it? Oh no, these are auto art cars, sorry. That is, yeah, these are auto art cars. I am sorry. Yeah, you are correct. These are not SCX cars. This is an auto art car. So, I used to have a scale SCX digital track before, and that's when I bought these cars. So I thought they was SCX cars, but I haven't. Like I said, I just pulled them out of the box that I had them in for a while, so I haven't seen them in ages. Yeah, auto art. They made beautiful cars. They run okay. I just pulled them out and put them on the track, and they run still. So I'm super stoked about that. Yeah, auto art makes beautiful cars. They're so true to scale. So Clint asked, on the SCX belt driven? And see, this is where probably I've never had an SCX four-wheel drive car, so I don't know. But if someone else does, they can answer that question for you, Clint. So Clint is asking if the SCX are belt driven four-wheel drive. So I don't know. So Geraldo says that the way old SCX were belt driven, like 1998 and older. Yeah, so like I have so many cars. I still have some cars that just loose in boxes that I haven't seen in ages. I don't even count them in my collection, but you know, once and again, like I go through a box and I found these two rally cars, the Subaru, and obviously, you know, I mean, Ken Block recently passed, but Colin McRae was one of my all-time heroes, and he passed away in a helicopter accident. So, you know, rally car drivers seem to not have the best luck outside of the track. But yeah, so the Subaru 555, the blue and gold, I pretty much pick that car up every time I see it. So SCX are all shaft driven. Are they similar to the auto art that I just showed? Yeah, so like I said, we're building Legos right now, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is the new Porsche 9XX. So I told you, we're in a Lego craze right now, so I have a shit ton. I have a lot of Lego auto stuff that I'm building recently. But this is pretty cool. This is a pullback system from Lego. Pretty awesome. Lego Techniques always does crazy cool stuff. So anyway, thought I'd show that. My friends here building it. So thanks a lot, Simon. Always something going on. Always busy with stuff. That's why we like hobbies. Now that's one car, the 9XX, the electric eraser from Porsche. I would really like to have that in a slot car version. Those Formula E cars that were released by Carrera, they are really fast. I don't know if you guys have run them in races. Ivan, why would you do that when we have the build and race? We already have the build and race system. Just build on top of it. It depends, I guess. But 100%, techniques could possibly do it. Geraldo, 12 volts versus 14 volt. I don't know what this is about, but sure. Yeah, Sean, I picked all three of them up, actually. I have all three. One of them is smashed to smithereens because it was like a car that just flew off the track. Especially when you have bank turns, those cars just fly. So, 100%. That's why I put four-way junctions in my track. So lots of smashing and bashing and a lot of 1,000 frames per second crashes will look really cool. I'm excited. But we have a ways to go. There's a lot of work to do to build a Lego city with this stuff. Yeah. So I think Carrera runs at 14.8, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty fast. Yeah. Hey, Area 51. I know Home Racing World did that pocket power supply. I just picked one up as well to run my Tire Truer as well. So good call on that. Good call from Home Racing World. For does anyone know for the Carrera digital 124 what voltage do they run? I guess I can look at my charger, but if anyone knows off the top of the head. Yeah, I saw the video today. I got one right away. It was yeah, I'm planning to build a technique system from Lego to run my slot car, push the plate back and forth. So should be quite an interesting build. 18 volts. Yeah, okay. I don't know. So I'm starting to get drawn into this 124 world, especially with the new like Joy Toy industrial buildings and towers, and that seems to be probably where I'm probably gonna start collecting 124 this year, because starting to see some really cool like pre-built, pre-weathered scenery that's coming out that would make for a really good industrial track. Sean has a question. Is there any easy instruction to charge my 4 Carrera wireless controller separate from the racetrack? It's not will, it's when. Are you talking about the 124 or something else? I just stepped to 143. I stepped down to 143 right now, obviously, to build this Lego city, and then maybe I'll step to 124. I do have a friend who custom builds slot cars. Gary is his name. He's been doing it for many years, and he builds them out of model kits, the Tamiya model kits. So he's always wanted me to step up to the 124, 125 series, and I think the new, like I said, the new Joy Toy scenery that's coming out is kind of piquing my interest, and the new figures that have come out from Joy Toy are just amazing. So maybe it's a build that I can see in my future really soon. Yeah, so I am getting an Omnibox. I was discussing this earlier. I'm actually in actively looking for industrial unit to put my big track into and open it up to the public for digital racing. I already spoke to Omnibox to get the full Omnibox system for that. And just waiting on finalizing the space, but hope to have my 24x8 track up by June. That's the plan. So that's what I'm working on very avidly right now with the whole crew. We're a whole crew together, so we're trying to do it together. Yeah, I spoke. I forget his name, but the person that runs Omnibox, and he's put the whole package together with the 6 controllers, 2 power supplies. So each track runs with its own power supply. Yeah, getting the whole works. So put that system together properly. Yeah, Jim is his name. Thank you for reminding me, Geraldo. I'm not very good with names, by the way, so forgive me if I forget things. It's just I have so many things going on in my mind sometimes. Yes, thank you once again, Area 51. Yep, I spoke to Jim. He sent me an email. We're going back and forth. I will be putting the Omnibox system in play as soon as we've got confirmation and we've signed the lease, and then we'll go into building. So I'm looking to hopefully open the track up by the end of this year, but there's a lot of work to do in the meantime. Yeah, like I said, this community is awesome. I mean, everybody I've met so far has just had a wealth of knowledge, has been really open to talking about it, and I'm like super stoked. I was, I'm gonna build like bus bars, have 30 power drops, so it's a lot of work, but I'm excited. It's a very big project, obviously moving to a commercially open track, so that's something you will not see ever from me as a wing car. I do not like wing cars at all. I'm so sorry, but I have no love for wing cars. They're super expensive. I've seen like I was at Ernie's the other day and somebody just picked up the chassis and it was $1,000 just for the chassis for the wing car, and that's cool. And I come from the RC racing world, and yes, they're stupid fast, but it's not a car. It's a piece of Lexan on a motor, and I'm just not into that. If you want to be a bear, sure, be a grizzly. Yeah, okay, I get that. I understand, but I don't know. I'm still into the real car world, and that's one thing that I did. The reason why I left RCs was the cars were just these Lexan bodies over a chassis, and Mini Z brought me back into RC world because they're now like real cars. They have like bodies and they have side view mirrors and antennas and stuff, and that's what I like about cars. I like the bits and bobs that make up a car unique. I just don't want a printed shell, or we used to spray paint the Schumacher shells ourselves and decal them and put them on. And I've had everything. When I was building RC cars, I used to be sponsored by Tamira, so I used to put aluminum wheels and make these like really cool Fast and Furious type vehicles. But they don't go quick. You want them to go quick. You're talking about brushless motors. You're talking about very lightweight bodies, carbon fiber chassis, and I remember my RC chassis, my carbon fiber RC chassis, was close to $5,000 total. It gets crazy, stupid, expensive when you want to get lighter and faster. So definitely, wing cars, I have no doubt. Like, there's so much engineering behind them. There's so much skill in building a wing car. I'm not going to take that away from anyone who drives wing cars. 100%. You guys you have to have some skill to do this stuff, 100%. But it does not appeal to me, never has, and I don't think it ever will. I like real looking cars, like the cars that you're building, Area 51, like those American Muscles, or when you look at Home Racing World, he has those pickup trucks. So I love 1951 pickup truck, like those custom built cars that I see you guys make. That's something that I could get into 100%. But a wing car is definitely not in my future. That much I'm aware. Yeah, 100%. That's why your series on how to build a car from scratch was unbelievable. But it tells me how far I am away from it, like the soldering and everything. Like I have to work a lot harder to get there. So your builds are definitely AAA, 100%. Really, 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 really awesome. And yeah, definitely a new world for me, especially. I'm addicted to 132nd plastic cars. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, Home Racing World does a really cool series where he takes a Trans Am and slams it, and that was another really cool series that I watched, where you cut off the supports and you slam the car down. It makes for a really, really nice look. So Area 51, look at the showdown cars coming up. Sure, if you have a link, let me know. I'll have a look. Cars. There's so many cool things about cars. I always look at cars. It's a sickness. I'm working on a Carrera C8R right now. Do you really like the C8R? I've always found the C7R to be a much a better, well-balanced car for racing than the C8R. I found the C8R a bit heavy, especially from Carrera. I found the C7 to be nice. Even the C6 is really fast, and the C6 has a really good motor mesh on it than even the C7 or the C8. I find, at least that's what I've got out of both my C6s. But the C7 is also really nice. I found the C8R was a little bit heavier and a little bit harder to, at least for me, I found it a little bit harder to work on to get it to where I needed to be. I found the C7 to be much, much sleeker and much faster. But then I said it's driving practices. I'm lagging on a Shima Toyota 2000 GT. Oh, you're lapping. I think you're lapping on a Shima. Yeah, the C7. I think there's a reason why most people run C7s. They are a little bit. I think the C8 is a little bit harder to get up to speed. But let me know how it goes. I'm really interested. I have 3 C8Rs here, but I haven't modded any of them. They're still like just brand new in box. I just took them out to do the videos and then put them back. But my C7 was a really fast car until the Porsche 911 RSR. That thing just blew everybody off the water. But the funny thing is about that Porsche 911 RSR, if I put the back wing on, it's not as it kind of has it doesn't handle as well. With the wing off, it's just planted. It doesn't go anywhere. So Area 51 says Hiroshima, good body for a scratch build. I've never seen it, so I'll look it up. Nice. So Gerald said he'll be broadcasting on YouTube, so that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I gotta wrap it up. I'm gonna head out. I gotta go do some Lego building now. But yeah, it was great fun. I'll be back next week. And remember, we're going to be looking at some... so this week we looked at tires. Look at motors and how to break in motors next week. And then we'll go into tuning and gearing and everything else. So I just keep on expanding on this, and I'll keep on adding notes to this, and then we'll go from there. But I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. And until next week, Monday, peace out. Have fun on rails, guys. And thank you for watching once again. All right. See you guys. Good night, man. Bye.